Welcome back. Using scorecards, key performance indicators, and KPI Watchlists. The recent release of Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition 11G provides a means of defining key performance indicators within your business intelligence metadata and of defining scorecards that make use of those KPIs. This part of the lesson will show you how to use key performance indicators as defined in OBIEE 11G and how they can be used to create a basic scorecard that measures the progress toward a corporate goal. Key performance indicators are measurements that define and track specific business goals and objectives that often roll up into larger organization strategies that require monitoring, improvement, and evaluation. Key performance indicators have measurable values that usually vary with time, have targets to determine a score and performance status, include dimensions to allow for more specific analysis, and can be compared over time for trending purposes and to identify performance patterns. A KPI status and score are determined by comparing its actual value against the thresholds that you define. The performance status of a key performance indicator is represented by the status icon that you assign to each range. The following list of specific uses for key performance indicators in Oracle BIEE. To evaluate metrics against their targets and alert the appropriate users via agents when targets are not met. Create an analysis from a KPI and add that analysis to a dashboard. An analysis that is created from a KPI can allow the user to drill into different levels of details based on the KPI's dimensions. For example, to a KPI called product sales, you can add the region and physical time dimensions to view product sales figures by region and time periods such as financial quarters. This enables you to gather multi-dimensional subsets of data and evaluate the performance of objectives and initiatives that the KPI measures against the different target values of the dimension metrics. In Oracle Scorecard and Strategy Management, use of KPIs to evaluate and monitor the performance of the objectives that form the strategy and the initiatives, tasks or projects that are needed to meet your objectives. Scorecarding. Oracle Scorecard and Strategy Management is a performance management tool that lets you describe and communicate your business strategy. You can drive and assess your corporate strategy and performance from the top of the organization or from the bottom. Oracle Scorecard and Strategy Management also enables you to either align your objectives and initiatives with traditional balanced scorecard perspectives, or to create your own to reflect your fundamental business competencies. The use of Oracle Scorecard and Strategy Management are simultaneously define the objectives, that is, goals such as decrease operational costs and initiatives, that is, processes or tasks such as form cost minimization team that form your strategy to which you align or assign KPIs to measure progress and performance. Objectives, initiatives, and KPIs. Align objectives and initiatives with customized or traditional perspectives. That is, fundamental business competencies and areas such as finance or customer relations. This later enables you to depict the extent to which corporate strategy supports these perspectives. You define target numeric ranges to evaluate the values of KPIs within corporate or departmental level objectives and initiatives. Graphically communicate strategy and strategic dynamics using strategy maps, cause and effect maps, custom views, and strategy trees. We'll discuss the implementation and status of the objectives and initiatives by adding, reading, and replying to comments. For this part of the lab, we will use a different data model or different RPD. We will have to deploy the default RPD which comes with every installation of Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition 11G. We'll log into the Enterprise Manager and perform all the necessary steps to deploy the Sample App Lite RPD. From the Fusion Middleware homepage, deploy the Sample App RPD. Expand the Business Intelligence folder. Click on Go Application. Takes a few moments. Click on the Deployment tab, then Repository, and then click on Log and Edit Configuration. The confirmation that Log and Edit Configuration completed successfully window comes up. Click on Close, then Browse. We want to get the Sample App Lite RPD. Click on that. Click Open. Then you type the password. admin123. admin123. Then you click on Apply. Notice that the Sample App RPD has updated the previous pent RPD. Then click Activate Changes. Takes a few moments. Activate changes completed successfully. Close. Restart or apply recent changes. On this window, click on Restart. Are you sure you want to restart OBIEE components? Click Yes, and this takes a few moments. Restart all completed successfully. Click on Close, and then click on Logout, and click on your analytics shortcuts if you have it saved out. Then Login, WebLogic, and then Sign in. Then go to your home. Recall that these errors on the home page appeared because we've changed the data model of the RPD to Sample App Lite. That's the reason why they did not populate to show any reports. This part leads you through the process of defining KPIs using the Sample App Sales Lite RPD. On the global header, click on New, and then select KPI from the drop-down menu. On the sub-menu which appears, you will select Sample Sales Lite. On the new window which opens, we will enter the following information. For description, we will enter Revenue Key Performance Indicators. KPI, and for the actual value, we will click the drop down arrow and navigate to the fact table and select revenue. And for the target value, we will do the same by clicking the drop down arrow and navigate to the fact table and select target revenue. We'll click Next on the top right corner of this page. We will define dimensionality here. Define dimension values for the KPI or allow each dimension to be prompted by the user. Now define the dimensionality of the KPI. On the Dimensionality tab, we'll click on Add button. Add new dimension window opens, and then we'll expand the timetable, and we'll pick the per name year column as our first dimension, and click OK to add it. We'll add another dimension, the per name year, per name month dimension. We'll follow the same step by clicking on the add button, expanding the time dimension table, and choosing the per name month. You click OK. We'll again add another dimension called office from the offices dimension. We'll click on add, expand the offices, select office, and click OK. Then click the next button on the right hand side of your screen to proceed to the next screen. The default value of the states came up as 90 to 100% as yellow, but we want to change it to 80. So we'll go ahead and click in this field, change that value to 80. And then we want anything that's more than 100% as green. So this remains the same. Anything that's less than 80 as red. That is the value to use for reporting our critical state. Then you click next. This tab allows you to create links for any related documents for all the different KPIs that you're creating, and it's an optional tab. So we'll go ahead and click next to go to the custom attributes tab. In this step, we will add a custom column, which is a calculated column, and we'll use a formula to define the variance column. And the variance will be the difference between the revenue and the target revenue. And we'll go ahead and click on add, and then the label will be called variance. And then we'll click on the drop down box, go to the best facts, we'll subtract this by the target, or we'll go ahead and use the formula bar and subtract the target revenue, and you click OK. Click on the finish button, and we'll save this under the My Folders, and we'll create a new folder for sample app. Right. Under My Folders. And then save this as a revenue key performance indicator. Go ahead and click OK. After saving, you can click finish, and then go to your home. Then what we want to do is we want to locate the newly created item, and we just want to click on it to open it. Taking a few moments. And notice that the rules that we placed in there automatically populates the values of the different offices. That kind of helps us know that where there are greens, we are in good shape. Where there is yellow, those are warnings, and then the red is a critical state that we need to keep a close eye on. We will go ahead and create another key performance indicator, which we'll call the quantity KPI. And we'll repeat the similar step that we used to create the revenue KPI. Click on New, KPI, Sample Sales Light. Here we will enter a description, quantity, key performance indicator. And then for actual value, we'll click on the drop down, go to the best facts, and we want the build quantity. Target, do the same, best facts, want the target quantity. Then we'll click next. The dimensionality, we'll click on add. Then we want to add the name here, and you add the name month, and then add the associated office, and then you click next. For the state, we want to also just change this to show 80, or you can use the little arrow to count down to 80, and you notice that the critical state is also changing at the same time. This 80. Then you click next. We do not have a related document for this quantity KPI, so we'll just go ahead and skip this related documents tab by clicking next. And we will again go ahead and create another KPI, and we'll call it quantity KPI, and we will use the edit formula box to find the difference between the build quantity and the target quantity. And then you click OK, and you go to next. So we'll label this quantity KPI. Looks I'm beginning to lose my typing skills there. And click OK, and then finish, and then go to your home, locate the new created quantity KPI. Let's review the results. And there too, again, the color coding has been applied. Now that we have two key performance indicators, let us build a KPI watch list to monitor these KPIs. From the global header, we'll click New and then select the KPI watch list option. Click on KPI watch list. On this new window, we want to add the new KPI by clicking on the drop down arrow right besides the objects option. Then you add KPI. Then we will go to the sample app, like where we saved our two KPIs, and we'll begin by adding the revenue KPI. Then you click OK. We do not wish to limit the results that we display, so we'll go ahead and just click OK on the screen, and our revenue KPI is added to the new watch list that we just created. We'll perform the same steps again to add the quantity key performance indicator, and just click OK. We have a new item included. Notice that on top we have different filters that have come up, so you can always filter a result by which office, and also the month of the year, as well as the year of your desire. As you choose different offices, months and years for those periods of time which contain data, you will notice that the data refreshes at the bottom, giving either green tick or warning marks or critical status options. You are encouraged to create additional KPIs for your own practice and then add them to the KPI Watchlist for additional practice and observation. In the next part, I will show you how to create scorecards, and we look forward to showing you how to create a scorecard.